Good evening, everyone. Glad to see you guys all tonight, and hopefully the public is out there staying safe and staying dry from the weather we've had. With that being the case, I would ask Council Member Joel Robert to lead us in our invocation and our pledge, please.
Jesus, I ask you to be with all of the victims, all of the people that were impacted by the storm that just passed. Lord, help them come together as a community, just as we did, seems 4 years ago. Also, God, thank you for your protection, and I thank you in advance for giving us wisdom through this meeting. In your name, we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joel. Appreciate that. Chair additions, we have one change to the list on the agenda, and that would be item C, the approval of proposed ordinance to amend ULDC section 17-2043B, standards for small wireless facilities. The administration, council, and the parties are still looking at the changes that have been proposed. So we're hoping to get that accomplished by our next utilities meeting. So all parties have agreed to pull that from the agenda. Agenda item number 4, public comment. Do we have any comments prepared for us? Or are we going to break away for phone calls?
We have no email comments, and we can go into the wait time for the telephone calls.
Fantastic. I appreciate that, guys. Just let us know when we're going to start and when we finish it up.
All right. We will return at 6:15.
Fantastic. Thank you. get back. I unintentionally went around the schedule of items that need to be done on the agenda. So with that being the case, please read us the full agenda for this evening.
Of minutes. B, the director's report. We skipped over C. D is the approval of the cooperative endeavor agreement between Ascension Consolidated Utilities District Number 2 and National Water Infrastructure Incorporated for operation of wastewater collection and treatment facilities. E, approval of purchase and conveyance agreement of the act of transfer of property by and between ACUD Number 2 and National Water Infrastructure Incorporated. F, approval of agreement with CES using sanitary sewer physical inspections and piggyback agreements with City/Parish of East Baton Rouge. G, approval of Silver Oaks WWTP GEQ Yearly Sewer Report 2019. H, approval of Hillaryville WWTP DEQ Yearly Sewer Report 2019. I, approval of agreement between Ascension Parish and 7T Forms for the right of access for alter routing option for CDBG project in Darrow.
Great. Thank you very much. Under general business, 5A, approval of the minutes from July 7th, 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Lawler. Do I see a second from Coach? Any discussion? Any opposition? Minutes approved. We spoke with Mr. Ken Dawson. Ken, welcome back. It's good to see you, brother. Really is good to see you. I understand that there's no director's report tonight. That correct?
That's correct, sir.
That's correct. Great. So we'll pass on item 5B. 5Z. See, we've already noted, we've pulled that one from our tonight's agenda. So with that, 5D, approval of the cooperative endeavor agreement between ACUD Number 2 and National Water Infrastructure. I believe we have a representative from NWI present to make a presentation to us this evening. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. You actually,
Fantastic.
I guess you could see us, yeah. Looks like you can see us
Yes,
in
we
the
can
camera.
see you, Mr. Boudier. Thank you much.
Also, Mr. Pertwee here with me as well. Thank you, everyone. I know we have quite a number of people on the, looks like the Zoom call, but President Quitmong, and obviously Chairwoman Casso, Chairperson Orgeron, and the rest of the committee. Thank you very much for letting us present tonight, or asking us to present tonight. I only have a couple very brief slides. I know that the materials that are part of the, the discussion tonight were originally submitted on August 21st, I believe it was, when I sent them directly to everyone, as well as whenever they were, if they were posted separately beyond that, but I know that's when we sent them out. So I just, without getting into all those details, I think maybe just a couple highlight slides to tell you where we are right now. So I think we've explained a number of times that, with now that we've created our organization and we've joined our teams with Tom and the rest of his organization, we're moving forward with our plan. We know that we have enough of a consumer base among our customers to support a project. So we will build out a consolidated sewer system that delivers state-of-the-art modern treatment on a collective basis to our customers. And we obviously also want to make sure that we can include everyone in the parish and the parish's customers in that system as well. And so what we did was we began on a campaign a number of weeks back to reach out to as many members of the public as we could to basically explain what our plan was to increase education on the situation in the parish. And this all culminated in the campaign that was crafted around the catchphrase, "We care." And we thought that, what the best way to exemplify the benefits of this parish were to show that, if we care about the parish, we care about all aspects of the parish, whether that be the people, the environment, the businesses, the economics, and we believe that we've created a project here that hits on all those different aspects of benefits. We actually hosted 2 webinars. We had several events, including live, what they call pop-up events, where we were present at Cabela's and Rouse's handing out information, which hundreds of people stopped by. We developed what we called the care package, where if you wanted further information, you could request this package. And along with information, you got some small gifts, sort of little trinkets about the project. And so we delivered over 200 of those so far. You may have seen the billboards around town. We've done zoned cable spots in Ascension Parish, as well as digital ads, direct mail, and created presences across all of the social media platforms. And as a result of that, we have reached many thousands of people in Ascension Parish. Over 14,000, or approximately 14,000 people viewed the website pages. Over 16,000 received direct mail. Over 208,000 viewed the TV, had viewing, opportunities for the TV spots. And we just disappeared. There we go.
I think we're having our video issue, but I think you're still on something.
Okay.
We can see
So
that.
should I just continue? Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yes, we got you.
Okay, we can't see you. I'll just continue. Over 820 actually opened email campaign messages that were sent, and over 150 people viewed our webinars. And so one thing that's clear is that we have reached out to many people, a very broad scope of people across the parish. And I'll be honest with you, the comments that we received back of people that actually had commented on the project, either on the website or directly or otherwise, have been extremely minimal. I don't believe we have more than 10 separate individuals that have made an actual comment with regard to the project. So you saw the letter that I forwarded on August 21st, as well as the draft cooperative endeavor agreement that was attached. And I think since then, at the request of several council people, there was a question that was asked that said, if there's going to be this option, and if we were to pursue the what's called the purchase option, we'd like to see a form of purchase or conveyance agreement that would be used in that instance. And so we also prepared that and forwarded that on. That purchase agreement is meant to be an ancillary agreement to the cooperative endeavor agreement, which means it's meant to take effect if that option were to be triggered under the cooperative endeavor agreement. But I think we can highlight the benefits of this this proposal through just a series of quick points. And again, it looks like you may not have the presentation up there, but first, with regard to the environment, obviously this proposal is going to go a huge way to cleaning up the parish's waterways and ditches. We keep saying we're looking at 3 million gallons per day of effluent taken away from Bayou Manchac. We've also explained that by reducing the sewer in the ditches, we're going to improve drainage, reduce flooding, and also reduce the costs that are associated with maintaining the ditches. But the project is still contemplated to be an over $200 million investment to consolidate the sewer system and distribute it to a central treatment plant on the Mississippi River. So there's some significant changes, though, in the proposal as it stands today, as it has transitioned from, really December, April, May, into today. One of the primary differences is that now, instead of the parish paying anything, the payments all go to the parish. Those payments include a $15 million cash payment to the parish that represents the use of the assets that the parish has invested in that are so-called, quote, pipes in the ground. Right now, ultimately, the final determination of that value has to be determined, and it has to be, it would have to be approved by the Public Service Commission, but we understand that the best number that we have right now, based upon the construction cost and the other items we've had from the parish so far, is we believe that to be around $15 million. We also understand that there's $11 million currently in the balance of what was called the construction fund, or the fund sort of held within ACUD number 2 that were previously going to be transferred to Ascension Sewer by the parish as a contribution to the project. Ascension Sewer will no longer receive that payment from the parish. That therefore frees up that $11 million that the parish can use for any other purpose that it desires, roads, drainage, whatever it wants. There is now a new annual payment component that is based upon a percentage of revenues, and so that will start out at approximately $500,000 a year, and it will grow over time to $1 million and more than $1 million a year over time. We have also agreed to assume responsibility for the repairs of the Oak Grove school system, which currently, our understanding, the parish had to allocate $2.5 million in the budget to have that work done. So we will take responsibility for that work. That's another $2.5 million that the parish has available in immediate funds to do whatever it desires. We also know that there has been subsidizing of ACUD over the course of years. Our best numbers, although this is probably conservative, is that has been about a net subsidization of an average of $3 million per year. As a result of our taking over the operation of the ACUD system and being responsible for those costs, the parish will not have to provide that $3 million subsidization, either from a transfer from the general fund or transfers from sales taxes. So that's another $3 million per year available to the parish. We'll start out connecting up 10 schools to the system. And by eliminating the cost associated with these schools of maintaining these systems, the maintenance on these systems, the upgrade of these systems, and even most importantly, for new schools, the building of these systems to start with, there will be many millions of dollars of savings for the schools in our parishes. And even more importantly, we will be taking those treatment plants away from places like Oak Grove School, away from the Dutchtown track, away from being so proximate to where our students are every day, and where our parents and everyone is going to pick up the students or go to sporting activities and things like that, and just make that a better environment that's available for the school. In addition to the fact that as these treatment plants are retired in the neighborhoods, that again will be returned to green space that the neighborhoods will have available to use as more beneficial shared space. And finally, we've always committed that this project will be executed at the most fair and reasonable rates possible. we're regulated by the Public Service Commission. That means, our 17,000 customers and the approval of rates with regard to our project will be approved, and those rates will have to meet the standards, the very strict standards of the Public Service Commission. And through the structure we're proposing, the parish will have the advantage of those public service rates and the process that's gone through to see the level of detail and scrutiny upon which it approves its rates, and will set a fair platform for the council, to the extent that it preserves its rate-making jurisdiction, can look at those rates as guidance for the 2,000 customers that will also be served, but that remain parish customers as long as the parish continues to own components of its own system. Someone asked me as soon as today, what's the main difference? Why has it changed so much? What's the primary kind of simplest way to think about what changed from prior versions to now? The primary version of change is that Ascension Sewer is retaining ownership of what it has and what it builds. And previously, under the prior structure, Ascension Sewer was going to contribute all those assets to the parish. Under the new structure, what Ascension Sewer owns, it will retain. And at least under the cooperative endeavor structure, what the parish owns, it will retain. And so, subject to the parish's right to exercise that purchase option or that sale option purchase for us in the future. So that, in a nutshell, is where we are. I think you have had the agreements now to look at, and I'm certainly available for any questions that you may have of Tom or myself.
Thank you. Mr. Bodier, thank you for that presentation. I also want to thank you for your cooperation and the efforts that your team has put together along with the parish to get this matter moving forward. I see President Quintlaw is there, and I want to thank him, sincerely want to thank him for the efforts that he's done over these last, I guess, 9 months now. Clint, I think it's been that, since you and I first met on this sewer plant. And obviously we've gone different directions, but my main focus when I took over this position as chairman of this committee was to make sure that we beat this horse until it was no longer able to be ridden. And let's get ourselves to a point to where everyone can try to get on the same page. And President Quintlaw has done a fine job of exploring various options. Members of this committee have done a great job of exploring for various options. We have discussed those options openly with each other, and in an effort to decipher what would work best. I have looked at the proposal, both the CEA proposal and the purchase agreement proposal, and really believe that this hybrid, this combination of the two, allowing us to go forward with the cooperative endeavor agreement with the option of selling the assets subsequent to a vote of the people. My goal this evening, and the proposal that I'm going to make to my committee members, is that we push this CEA and we recommend the CEA for approval to go before the full council. With that consideration, having that meeting done at the Gonzales meeting later in the month of September, where we can all get together and give us a couple of weeks to iron out any other issues, and to move forward as we have done. The highlights, I think Mr. Bodier explained very well. We've gone from giving Ascension Sewer $15 million to operate sewer in the parish to them giving us $15 million. That's a $30 million swing that we'll be able to use effectively for infrastructure projects that we need throughout the parish. There's going to be a franchise fee that was not included in the previous deal. That franchise fee is going to bring us anywhere between, conservatively $500,000 to as much as $1 million, $1.2 million, as this moves forward. Those are funds that can be dedicated to recreation, to supporting our children, to some other infrastructure projects. So with that being the case at this point, I would entertain a motion for us to move this matter
I've got some
forward.
questions for Mr. Burke.
We'll do discussion after the motion gets forward, Mr. Robert, if that's okay. So I'd like to have a motion on the floor. Did I see Mr. Lawler's hand up for the motion?
Yes, you did.
Motion from Mr. Lawler, second by Coach. Discussion. And I saw Mr. Robert's hand up first, but there he is again. Mr. Robert, please go ahead. Ask questions you may have.
Okay, I have 3 questions. First question, looking at your outreach and actual interaction with the public, you could say you've had actual interaction with 12 people in the parish. Does that sound accurate? Meaning feedback from them, and I would assume that would be from the people messaging on the internet, on your website. And this is directed to, because you said like 200,000 reached by TV impression, you said, but the only one I actually saw interaction was the website.
No, so we know that 14,000 actually clicked on and read the website. We know that 150 watched the full webinar videos. We know that we communicated with 16,000 through direct mail. We know that 820 opened and read the email campaigns. And we know that we reached over 200,000 through the TV campaigns. So we have interacted.
How many people have you gotten feedback from? How many people have you gotten feedback from all of those outreaches?
From all of those, the only feedback that we've gotten back is about, like I said, about 10 people, which I think is extraordinarily good.
Okay, that was my first question. Second question, the $15 million that you speak that we will receive, how would that payment work? When will we receive the full $15 million? Will it be at once? Will it be up front? If not, are we going to have interest on top of that? Is my question.
It's a one-time cash payment that would be paid immediately upon approval by the Public Service Commission of the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement.
Okay.
So I would expect, we're kind of timing that for, we're hoping to get this approval process done as soon as possible. So December, end of this year.
Okay. And
it'll be one time.
My third question, I'm not sure if this one would be more toward you or Mr. Pertwee on the operating side, but since the acquisition of Ascension Wastewater, have there been any hike or rate increases in sewer of current customers?
No, quite to the contrary. The first thing we did upon the acquisition of NWI is we gave every one of our customers 2 months of free sewer service. So they actually paid nothing for the months of April and May, and as a result of that, we took a earnings loss of $1.3 million.
What bill are they paying today or next month as opposed to they would have been paying in, let's say, before January? Say a bill this, just in contrast.
They're paying the exact same. So in other words, in the simplest terms, we ate that. They are not paying any reimbursement for that, as is done with other regulated utilities or may have been done with the parish.
But I'm saying with that taken out of the equation, the actual bill that they get at the end of the month or the beginning of the month or whenever is the same amount as it was a year ago?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's all I have. Thank you so much
for your verification, Mr. Robert. My rates haven't gone up any. My rate is the same as it was last year. Ms. Casa.
I think Joel was trying to get the current rate. So what is the current rate for NWI services.
NWI has a flat rate of $45.70.
$45.70 is the DEQ fee.
$45 for a residential customer.
And 70 cents is a DEQ fee?
Yes.
And my last understanding, although I don't know if it's changed, but I think it was $42 and some change as a parish residential customer. $42.50? $42.50.
Mr. Lawler?
Now, I just want to clarify, I was making a motion, I want to make sure that we're moving this to the September 17th council meeting, which hopefully, based on the phases of the government, will be an in-person meeting, and that we move it without action, does not go directly to the consent agenda.
Yes, I believe that's the case, Mr. Lawler. That's how I interpreted your motion.
You can stipulate that, Aaron, that you don't want it to go to
Yes.
consent.
Yes.
This needs thorough review.
Mr. Turner?
I know they said the rates have stayed the same the past few years. Are there any plans to increase the rates within the next 3 to 5 years?
The rates will have to be increased as a result of the project as we begin building the project. And so what we will do is we'll present a rate case to the Public Service Commission that explains the investment needed for the project, and we'll ask them to approve a rate that allows us to basically pay for the project. And that is, sorry.
And once that project is completed, would the rates remain the same?
Yes, and in other words, under the Public Service Commission process, there is no rate change without an approval of the Public Service Commission based upon showing a basis of a need for a new rate. And so unless there is a new investment that is made, or there is some additional cost that is associated with an additional project, then there would be no change in the rates.
Okay.
I got Coach, and then I see Mr. Robert. Coach, you first.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. President, and to the council. We've been dealing with this for quite some time now, and I'm looking at not counting all of the money the parish has spent on other efforts on sewer prior to 2019, and also from May to December 2019, Ascension Parish has spent over $600,000 on taxpayers' money trying to negotiate an agreement with Ascension Sewer. I'm not sure how much we have spent so far in 2020 since taking office on negotiating, which could add to that number of the 600,000. How much has the parish spent looking for a solution to the sewer? Someone can answer that? It has been mentioned. It has been mentioned in management. I'm just saying that the mentioned management that the parish has spent $42 million just over the last 8 years on sewer and other utility issues. Money, I'm saying, that money we could have used for other critical issues such as roads and recreation. What do we have to show for the money we have spent on sewer so far? Mr. President, can you answer that?
Well, let me ask this, Mr. President, you want to take questions this evening, or that's up to you, sir?
I can only give you a roundabout, Coach, where we're approaching $1 million roughly. But we're talking about a 4-decade, close to $1 billion agreement. So this is something that requires a tremendous amount of due diligence, a tremendous amount of attorneys looking at numbers, vetting contracts, This takes an extreme amount of professionals to come in, analyze this. So, but yes, it is, I would say, an estimate approaching $1 million.
Thank you, Mr. President. Coach, you have anything else?
Yeah, let me just say, Ascension Sewer, has also spent a significant amount of money developing a proposal to find ways to get this done and address issues raised by the parish. Sewer has been studied numbers of times over the last 20 years. I mean, Mr. President advised with every conceivable alternative considered. Every time it has been studied, it's finding a dollar to invest to get this done quicker, more economical at lower user rate for the customer, and also the effort since 2019 have once again come to that same conclusion. The time has passed for the parish to look at going or doing it alone, but an effort system to put a system in place in the environment for our citizens. That's all I have. I mean, I think we need to move on with this and get this thing done and quit kicking the can down the road. And we've studied this for 20 years. I've been on this since 1996. We've been trying to get this done. So the studies and studies after study after study, spending taxpayers' money, we can be doing something better with that. So we need to get it done. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I know Mr. Robert had his hand up again.
If I could somewhat address some of Councilman Thomas's concerns with what we have received or what we do have as a result of the money already spent. In this sewer deal and negotiation and sewer plan, we do have all the IP, all the intellectual property. I mean, you're talking about all this engineering, all this type of stuff that would be necessary to move forward with whichever plan we go to. And I mean, that works on both sides of the coin. If you're going to do business, especially if you're going to do business at the level of a company as Bernhardt, that's what you call cost of doing business. I mean, they're going to spend some money in engineering, they're going to spend some money in lawyers' fees, but I mean, they expect that. They're not going into this expecting to get paid for all this. I wouldn't assume. I think kind of to get an idea of it, I mean, you're talking about $1 billion project. I feel like we are in the middle of, and I am all for moving for option and something to move forward with the sewer. But I think we do need to follow the due diligence, and I think we're doing a good job with it. The COVID kind of put us back, but that's really all I had to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. Any other comments or questions, guys? Ma'am?
I would just like to, if I may, Corey, at the end of the year, we had a very difficult time. And I want to take just a moment to thank you and Dal and Chase and Aaron and all the guys, Coach and Joel and Travis, and particularly the parish president, who found a way. What we had in front of us, none of us were comfortable enough with to make a positive affirmative vote in December, and we marched into the new year with a commitment to push forward. And I certainly want to tell Jeff and the two Jeffs and Mr. Bernhardt how much we appreciate them staying with us. Tom, who has really pulled yeoman's work here to help us all to better understand. And I mean, there's so much improvement to what we have done. And I think that in the next 2 weeks, there may come yet a little more improvement. I mean, there are other people, once this is in front of the other councilmen, who will have an opportunity to weigh in, and we'll throw some ideas at the two Jeffs and see what we can muscle them to do for us. But I really think that this has been a very good process, and I'm very proud of all of the young minds who came to the council, and except Corey's, his is older. But those young guys really brought, they brought a really business-like approach, and I'm impressed with them, and certainly the president has helped them by marshaling the forces that we needed to put this plan together. So I'm very grateful. I look forward to September.
Yes, ma'am. Are you waving goodbye, Coach, or you got something to say?
No, I got something to say.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this will be the last thing. Let's not forget that every year we wait to move this thing forward, the price go up. So it's been since '96. It wasn't as big as it was today, but every year, let's remember, every year we set back, put it back, it goes up. So I think in terms of having a good plan, good solution, Ms. Terry just spoke about all the bright minds. We'll come together, let's work it out, and let's move forward with it and get it done. They have to bite the bullet. Somebody has to bite the bullet. It's simple as that. It's got to be done. It needs to be done. So let's get it done. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Again, I thank everybody for your contributions. And I'm glad that we have a plan to go forward, and I'm thrilled that we're going to have a vote on this, on the CEA within the next couple of weeks, and then following that, hopefully we get everything together to where we will have a vote on the sale in front of the public in December. That's the ultimate goal. Mr. Robert.
Councilman, you have to act on this motion at the meeting. You have to act on this motion.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing multiple voices.
I thought the motion said that it defers to the next council meeting with no action. So it won't be voted on next council meeting, right?
No, we can vote on it at the next council meeting. It's just that tonight we're not taking a vote on it so that it would be on the consent agenda at the council meeting. So we'll still have debate and discussion at the council meeting to make the decision at that time. And then the full council will get to vote. That's my understanding of Aaron's motion. Is that your take also, Mr. Lawler?
Yeah, that's my intention, that we still have the ability to vote on it, but we're not taking any action as this Utilities Committee to recommend it unanimously to go to the consent agenda.
Correct. It's not going to be a unanimous consent. We're just moving it to the full council for discussion and vote at the next meeting, next available meeting. Ms. Castle?
I anticipate, gentlemen, I think to help you to feel a little better, maybe Joel, I anticipate that this agreement may be amended at that time, because there's going to be a lot of serious negotiations and conversations that go on between now and then. And certainly I think that we can depend. Mr. Quitmall has committed to negotiate, and the Bernhard folks have committed to negotiate, and our great Utilities Committee, as well as our other bright minds on this council, have committed to negotiate. So I think we're going to be in good shape. And certainly, you know, if we don't have it together, there's always the option to wait. But my understanding is we're going to have it together. That's our goal, to have it together.
Yes, that's it. If there's no other discussion, is there any opposition to moving this matter to the full council, September 17th? If there's no objection, motion passes. And the piggyback to this particular agenda item for the CEA is also agenda item regarding the sale and conveyance of all the assets of our sewer facilities to Bernhard Capital. The understanding and appreciation with that is for the parish to transfer any revenue generating assets, it is required that we bring the vote to a referendum of the public. And that is a great opportunity for the public to weigh in and tell us if, yes, they want the sale of the sewer program or not. The objective here is again to move this matter to the full council for a vote, to have the vote before the public at the December 5th election that's coming up in a few months. We've selected this process because it's we have to have this decision made within 58 days of the posted election. So we have to have it done by October 3rd, October 4th. With that being the case, do I hear a motion on the floor for us to move this matter, the matter of the sale, forward to the full council? I have a motion.
Yeah, make that motion.
Mr. Lawler, what is your motion, sir?
I move that we move it to the September 17th, identical motion as the last one. And I would like to add that this is an extremely important step because we're talking about bringing this to a vote of the people. I know that was a concern before, but this council and this administration wants to bring this to a vote of the people, and I think it's got the full support of this council and this administration to do so. So thank you.
Thank you. So I have Councilman Lawler's motion. Coach, you second? Thank you, Coach. Now we're open for discussion on this matter. Is there any discussion on this matter? No? Fantastic. Any opposition to moving this forward? Fantastic, everyone. Motion passes, and we will have further debate and discussion at our September 17th full council meeting, hopefully with the public attending with us. Mr. Baudier, Mr. Pertwee, thank you guys for attending this evening. I wish we could have been live, but being it's Memorex, it was still an opportunity for all of us to get together. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Just real quickly, I know that Councilwoman Castro went through a long list of names, and I may have just not heard it. I know there was never any intention, but let's make sure that Mr. Diaz is included in that list as well, because he's
absolutely.
Which
Diaz is that? Which Diaz is that?
That would be Mr. I don't know if that's a trick question, but it's Mr. John Diaz.
John, it's okay.
Never heard of him. Never heard of the guy.
He's so transparent, he's a ghost. I ain't seen him in forever.
I'm looking forward to meeting him. I keep hearing about this guy.
I'll tell you where to find him. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
And I do
Thank you, guys.
apologize
Appreciate
for not
everything.
mentioning John. You are absolutely right. John has been amazing to help in helping us to navigate this process. We were very grateful to him.
Okay. As we move forward with the agenda, do I have a Gavin Fleming present for his presentation on item E, approval of agreement with CES, the sanitary sewer physical inspections and piggyback?
Yes. Evening, committee members. This is basically an agreement for us to be able to go off the RFP process that Baton Rouge has already completed to use CES for items like sludge removal, and if there's any sort of cammering or investigations that we needed to do for lines that we currently own, it gives us an opportunity to have a cheaper price than if we go out for individual pricing.
Great. Do I hear a motion? Travis, have a motion. Do I hear a second? Coach, second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hey, Mr. Robert, what you got?
Reading through the agreement, I noticed it says it's for testing and it's for service. What is the limit of this contract that we're looking at? What is the money that we're committing to? And what sewer system are we putting this work into?
There is not a specific sewer system that we are putting this work into. Per our DEQ permits, it requires us to haul out sludge periodically. Some of our larger systems require it at every 1 to 2 years. Others on an as-needed basis. By having this agreement in place, it allows us to save $50 per hour on one of our call outs to do the service. These are services that we are actively using from this company. They do a great job. And as far as commitment, this commitment is not a guaranteed contract. It's basically, it allows us to have the cheaper prices for their services. So if we don't call them out or ask them to come do the work, then there's nothing that we have to pay them. So there's also a way to get out after, if we have a problem with their contract or we move forward with this agreement with Ascension Sewer or NWI, then we can opt out after 30 days, and then the contract will go away.
That's all I have to hear. Thank you.
That was it.
That was magic words.
Yeah, the magic words, and we looked through it. You can get out of it when you need to.
Right.
So we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Great. Motion passes. G, approval of Silver Oaks WWTP DEQ yearly report. Mr. Fleming.
Yes, thank you, Councilman. So these, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on the first, since we have two of them back to back. These are fairly new requirements that DEQ is stating. Once the permits are going out for renewal, they are asking that any plant over 50,000 gallons per day, they submit a report of how the plant did for that past year. So this is just a summary of the report. We have to have this approved by council or by the committee, so that way it cements it into public record and there's no conflicts. Would y'all care for me to go through it, or?
I'm sure it's over my head.
The long and short,
the report. Do I hear a motion on the floor to approve the report? Motion by Councilman Turner. Second by Councilman Thomas. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Councilman Lawler has returned. H, approval of the Hillaryville WWTP DEQ yearly sewer report.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Turner. Second by Councilman Thomas. Any discussion? Any opposition? Let it pass. And then I, approval of agreement between Ascension Parish and 7T Farms for the right of access for alter routing option for a CDBG project in Darrow.
Okay. This
motion by Councilman Turner. Second by Councilman Thomas. Any discussion? Discussion, Mr. Robert.
I just wanted to hear exactly what he had to say about it.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
All right, man, I thought I was gonna get out of here. No. So
we tried.
Basically, this project has been in the works for a long time. It's about roughly 80% complete at the moment. They're on their last section of it. Austin Beard is the road that there's a problem with maintaining access for the homeowners, for the constituents there. So we had to come up with an alternate route to be able to have access we're estimating 4 to 6 weeks of time frame for when they wouldn't really have good access to their home. There's a property that has an old logging road where we're doing fence work, putting in some additional gravel, some culverts, so that way they can have access to that property and be able to get in and out of their house. It's a safety concern because if they're doing the work on Austin Beard and they can't get an ambulance down, that's a problem. And we don't want to have that as an issue. We want to resolve it. So this agreement is just to allow us to have the access for the property owner. So that way, we're not just running through their facilities without, having an agreement in place.
Okay. Any further discussion? Any more questions? Any
Motion to
opposition?
adjourn.
Well, let me bang the gavel and say that one's passed. Item six, adjourn, motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Mr. Lawler. Guys, thank you, everybody, for attending this evening. God bless our public for paying attention and being patient with us all. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Please note, the meeting is no longer being recorded.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see what the punch.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Good night, everybody.
The meeting is about to terminate.